Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name is Acacia. Today I'm going to be doing my fall recommendations video. So these are the books that I would recommend you read in fall. I really enjoyed them for that season and I am excited to share them with you. I've got my scarf, I've got my sweater, I am ready to go. Let's dive into the books since there are quite a few here. So the first one we have is a classic in terms of witchy reads. This is Alice Hoffman's Practical Magic. This is a story of two sisters who are born into a family that is cursed, that when you fall in love with a man, he will die. And so their mother dies of a broken heart and they are forced to go live with their aunts. And as they are growing up, they are severely bullied and traumatized for being witches, and one decides to not use her magic and the other decides to run away. So the story kind of follows from there and you kind of come back with them. You get to see some romance, a little bit of witchery and some potions and things like that. I really enjoyed it. I really recommend it and I really love it, and I think I'm gonna read this month. I think I am. I haven't read it in a couple of years and it is time. It is time to give this a reread. It's been a while. And this one was a surprise to me as I special ordered it, and it was not expected, but it was, no, where is it? I know it's there. It is. It's signed, which is really nice. I like that. Alright, the next book we have, I've done a whole book review on and I will link it up in the cards. This is Fingersmith. This is a book that I regretted not putting onto my favorites of 2017, I believe. I absolutely adore this book. This is super creepy, super wonderful. You can see I have bent the spine quite a bit. I tend to stress about this book and go like this because I'm very stressed. So, you know, not the best taking care of this book, but you know, that's what happens when I get tense. This is the story of two women. One woman who is down on her luck and she is living in a group of people who are thieves. And she gets asked to do a job with one of their friends and to trick a woman out of her inheritance. And she goes to this home to become the maid to this woman that she's going to trick out of her inheritance. And things progress from there. It is a lesbian romance. It's got some interesting little twists and turns. I adore it. I absolutely love it. And I might reread this in October too. Yeah, I might. Actually, I think I will. I've had a really bad September in terms of reading, and I think I'm just gonna do whatever the heck I want in October to see if I can get some reading done. This is Malmuth by Sarah Perry. This one has some mixed reviews. A lot of people didn't like it. I personally really liked it. I thought it was super creepy. I had a really good vibe from it in terms of like that dark, twisty sort of feel. This is the story of a woman and her friend who is sick, and they are obsessed with this character, Malmuth, who is a historical figure, sort but not really. She's a woman who searches the world for the lonely people, and then she offers them her hand, and if you take it, you are sent into the realm where she is of darkness. And it's just about people disappearing and people being taken away, and it's all very strange. It's all very, very strange. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I personally liked it better than the Essex Serpent. That is a very unpopular opinion, but I liked it better than the Essex Serpent, so there's that. This is The Corset by Laura Purcell. This is the author of The Silent Companion. I liked The Silent Companion. A lot of people didn't. This is The Corset. This is her next one, and then she has a new one coming out, which I really want. It's in the UK, and I need to pre-order or order that. I'm not sure if it's out yet. This one is about a woman who ends up in prison for murder, and it's got some weird elements and some twists and turns, and she attributes her murder to the supernatural, but there is a psychologist in the jail that attributes it to the size of her skull and believes he can specify madness and danger according to the size of your skull. So it's got some weird medical conversations, it's got some interesting darkness, it's got some supernatural feels to it. I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm not sure if it's available in the US. If it's not, don't buy it from the UK. It's not that amazing, but if you can get your hands on it, it's good. I would recommend it. This one is a no-brainer. This is The Secret History. I have 2 copies of this, one in paperback and one in hardcover. I have loaned out the paperback to my mother, but this is The Secret History, and it is the story of 5 kids, or 5 people, who are in a class of classics, in an Ivy League sort of school in the New England area, and we follow one character who comes from California to go to this school specifically, and he is obsessed with this group of kids that are in this classics class, and he is determined to get into it. So he gets into it, and then he starts to realize that things aren't as they seem, and these people are somewhat dangerous, and things are not exactly how they should be. I really am looking forward to this as a reread. I haven't reread it this year, so I might reread it soon. I also might reread it in... Is this a first edition? No, this can't be a first edition. Okay, this is the 3rd printing. Whew! I was really scared because I paid like $5 for this, and I was like, what did I... Whew! Okay, we're good. But yeah, I'll probably reread that within the next 6 months. I just love rereading that book. I get a lot out of it, and I find that there's a lot of conversations about the history of the Roman and Greek Empire and their treatment of women, and also some statements of how those who are into more, what's the word I'm looking for, exclusive societies are really how they behave and what kind of trouble they could potentially get up to with that kind of power. It's interesting. I really love that book. This is See What I Have Done by Sarah Schmidt. This is the retelling or fictionalized telling of Lizzie Borden. It follows her sister, their maid, and Lizzie herself. And it is really creepy. If you have trouble with vomit, I would avoid this book. But it follows the story. It tells you a little bit of the backstory of Lizzie and what her life was like as a child and what she went through. And then it kind of dives into her relationship with her stepmother and her father. Her mother died when she was very young, and she has a relationship with her sister that is pretty solid, but something goes wrong, and nobody really knows what happened or how it happened or who did it. So this follows that, and it's a fictionalized adaptation of it. So I really enjoy that one, and I would recommend it. Foxlow. This one will be mentioned again when I talk about the cults video. I haven't forgotten. I'm in the next video, maybe, or in the video after that. It's going to be soon. We're going to be in a new location. I'm going to be moving these bookshelves into that room, and we should be done with that microwave. And I'll be able to get to all my books instead of having to climb over furniture to get to books. Like right now, the chaotic little book quarter is chaotic beyond anything. I've got boxes of my boyfriend's stuff. I've got laundry baskets. I've got bags for Goodwill. I've got a desk in front of one of my bookshelves. It is insanity. I don't even know how I'm dealing with it. How did I get all these books? I moved the desk, got the books, pushed the desk back. My knees hurt. It's terrible. It's terrible. So I'm going to do the cult video, but it just hasn't happened yet. This is Foxlow by Eleanor Wasberg. I love this book. This one is, I really loved it. A lot of people were not so much fans of it, but I thought it was great. This is the story of, I want to say her name is Green. And she ends up having a little sister, Blue. And the two of them are growing up in this cult, and they are... what's the word I'm looking for? Abused because of the bad and what that could do to a child and how it could hurt them and cause them to be bad. And Blue is very, very much part of the bad and gets into a lot of trouble. And so Green's goal is to protect Blue. And Blue is really curious about what's on the outside of the cult. And everybody in the cult is very worried about that. I really liked it. I thought it was great, and I really liked watching them interact and seeing it. If you don't like child abuse, it might be really hard to read, but as far as books go, I thought it was a solid book, and I really enjoyed it. I wanted to have at least one nonfiction, and so I picked Dreadful Places by Aaron Mahnke. This is The World of Lore, which is the Lore podcast, which I love. This is his one of his 3 books. This one is about Dreadful Places. There's a lot about asylums in here. And lighthouses. It's creepy. It's really creepy. I have this on audio and I really love listening to it. If you can get it on audio, do that. It's really great to listen to because Aaron has a fantastic voice. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really fine. I thought it was really fun. I thought it had a lot of interesting facts to it. It definitely kept the light on for me for the night. I would recommend this one if you like getting a little creeped out and thinking about things, and if you have an interest in dark asylums or lighthouses, it's really worth reading. It's really worth it. This one is specifically a fall book to me because of when I read it. I was listening to it on audio while raking leaves. So it's going to always be a fall book to me. This is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. I really like this book. I think it's really good. It's narrated by Death, which is very strange, and it makes for a very interesting story. I do have the movie cover here. I don't know why I prefer the movie cover in this situation, but I do. I think it's partially because I couldn't find the original cover, and I was very, very bothered by that. I just could find new covers and things of that nature. I wanted the original cover or this cover, and this is the one I could find. So I was pretty happy with that. And this follows a young girl named Liesel, who is a daughter of a communist, and her mother gives her and her brother up to be foster children. Her brother dies in the process of getting to the foster parents, and she is taken in by 2 people. And then you watch her experience what is Germany during Nazi occupation, and how they are supposed to follow Hitler blindly, and she doesn't agree with that, and she also loves books, and she's watching book burnings, and things are just not great for her, and she is doing things that are not completely correct for the Nazi occupation, but she is trying to stay loyal to herself, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. Then we have The Burning by Laura Bates. This one is kind of a fall read. The reason I like this as a fall read is because it has to do with witches. It's a story of a girl who is living in a town, and then something happens on social media that causes her to shut down all of her accounts and to leave her school and go to a new one. And she thinks that she's gotten away from it, but she hasn't. And it's kind of that whole ostracized, bullied kind of story, figuring out how to cope with that kind of cruelty, what kids can be like when they're, you know, behaving in a certain way. It's also a feminist story. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. It is not available in the US yet. It is $7.99 for pounds. That translates into about $10. If you want to pick it up via Book Depository, you can. I'm not a big fan of Book Depository. I don't really think that they do a great job. But if you want to, you can. Yeah, I personally picked it up from, I think, Waterstones or Foils. So I paid the shipping, which was mighty expensive. But I prefer to shop through them than Amazon or Book Depository. So that's what I did. But I would recommend it if you can get your hands on it. I really liked it, especially if you like feminist books. It's great. Then a couple of horrors or thrillers. This is Jane Doe by Victoria Helen Stone. I really enjoyed this book. This is about Jane. How do I explain this? I actually think that the back cover gives away too much. Jane is a woman who is working for an insurance company, and she has a goal of seducing a man. And she knows him, but he doesn't know her. And she has a reason for wanting to seduce him. And it's not nice. Yeah. That's about all I'm going to tell you on that one. I really liked it. I think it's great. I would definitely recommend it. Sorry, I just saw a squirrel and they had something in their mouth and I don't know what it was. Psycho by Robert Bloch. This one is a favorite of mine for several reasons. If you've read it, you know why. If you've seen the movie, you know why. If you haven't, then you're probably not sure what I'm talking about. This is the story of Norman Bates. He runs a hotel, and a woman comes to the hotel and does not come out. Yeah, that's all I'm going to tell you. I really like this book. It's great. The movie's great too. I like both. This is My Best Friend's Exorcism, written by Grady Hendrix. This is fantastic. I really love this one. This is the story of Abby and Gretchen one night goes into the woods after they've done some drugs, and she comes out and she's no longer the same person she was. And something happened in those woods, and you're trying to figure out what happened in those woods and why she's behaving as she is. I really loved it. It's got some dark elements to it. It's really fun. It's quick. It reads like an 80s film. It's super great. I love this book. I would definitely recommend this if you can get your hands on it. And I love this edition. I love this edition so much. I like this edition better than I like the original edition. So, yeah, super great. Super great. So those are all of my recommendations for fall. I hope you guys like this video. I post videos every Tuesday and Thursday. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, click that subscribe button down below. I'm going to link my blog and my Patreon in the description box. Thank you so much to my Patreons for your support. Thank you to my subscribers for sticking with me. I love you all. Welcome to the new subscribers that I have. I will talk to you all in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.